I got my protein shake. I got my agua. I'm ready to do this. Hold on. Let me take a sip. Hello, everyone. Welcome in to my video review of The Plucky Squire. And let's just jump right into it. The Plucky Squire is a game developed by All Possible Futures. This is actually their first real effort, and it's a game that is published by Devolver Digital. I played and reviewed this game through Steam on my PC, and I used an Xbox gamepad to play the game, so I was not using keyboard and mouse. I was using a controller, and everything played well, and we'll get to that in the performance section of the review. So I just want to give a little summary for the game. You play as the Plucky Squire named Jot. He is the protagonist of the book titled The Plucky Squire. In this book, Jot is always written as the victor. He is always written to defeat Humgrump. But this is the first curveball that the story itself throws. Humgrump is aware he is written to always lose. And in efforts to rewrite his fate, he proceeds to kick Jot out of the book. Now in the game, this is the first 3D section that you play as. But this is also one of the many times that the characters inside the pages of the book break the fourth wall. So our Plucky boy, now kicked out of the book and in fully 3D, has to find his way back into said book to defeat Humgrump. And this is all I'll say regarding the story, because there's so many twists and turns in the Plucky Squire. And for me personally, I went into the game kind of blind. I went into the game not watching many trailers or gameplay. I think as a result of that, I came out of my experience absolutely adoring the story and the many turns and twists that it takes and all the ways that it subverts your expectations. So yeah, I don't want to give too much of the story details, but the general plot is you play as Jot. You do have a group of characters that follow Jot through his story and help him out, and he is trying to defeat the villainous Humgrump. So now we've moved on from the story, and now we're talking about the gameplay. In the Plucky Squire, there is no good description of the gameplay loop. And in what I call modern gaming, most games are designed to have a almost formulaic gameplay loop. In the Plucky Squire, there really isn't a real formula. The game consistently throws you new ideas and new minigames and new puzzles and new combat encounters and stuff like that. There is no true formula. You never know what's coming next, and I absolutely love that about the game. It continued to keep you on your toes throughout the 10-hour runtime. There is 3 different perspectives in the Plucky Squire. There is a top-down isometric perspective. The other perspective that the game takes is a 2D side-scrolling perspective. Now, outside of the book, when you realize that Jot can exit and enter the book via green portals that are on the pages, these sections of the game are most akin to 3D action platformers, and to me, the perspective is really similar to Kirby and the Forgotten Lands. But yeah, there's 3 different perspectives here, and all 3 of the different perspectives share the same moveset for Jot, but they all play a little different from each other. Let's talk about Jot's moveset now. So he starts off with basic sword attacks and a roll, which you can spam, by the way, and if you're watching the clips, you can see that I absolutely abuse this. But later on, you can upgrade Jot's moveset to get a sword slam, a sword throw, and the spin attack. And my favorite out of all of these is definitely the sword throw, because if you upgrade it via the shopkeeper named Martina, which you can upgrade all of the movesets, the upgrade to the sword throw makes the sword throw further. So Jot can now throw the sword further, and this in turn allows you to line up your sword throws when you're chopping down bushes or hitting trees or even attacking enemies. And it's so much fun. And to me, it kind of feels like a simplified version of Kratos' Leviathan axe, in the fact that you can throw it out and you can recall it, and they both deal damage. Both throwing it out and recalling deals damage. But yeah, so that is Jot's moveset. And his moveset translates through all the different perspectives that the game takes. So regardless if you're in the top-down 2D segments, or if you're in the 2D side-scrolling segments, or if you're in the 3D action platforming segments, the game lets you use the complete moveset. I think the only side note to that is I don't think you can spin attack when you're in the 2D side-scrolling sections, but everything else works perfectly fine. So that's the gameplay. That's Jot's moveset, the different perspectives that the game takes place in. And I wanted to say that this is my next talking point, is the perspectives. So I absolutely love the way that the perspectives are woven together throughout the story. And as the pages of the book flip, you never know what perspective that the game is going to take. And not only does the game's perspective change, as in the top-down, the 2D, and the 3D segments, the book itself also shifts perspectives. Some of the pages are on a horizontal layout, while some other pages are on a vertical layout. And you'll see the book alter between these two different perspectives as well. So I absolutely adored that. And on top of that, of course, I said the 2D, the top-down, and the 3D segments also. And these are all woven within the story to break this formula of having a formulaic gameplay loop. And I absolutely adored that about the game as well. So now let's shift on to the puzzles. The example that I give in my written review is also going to be the same one that I share here, because the puzzles do get more intricate as the game progresses, and as you get more power-ups, and as you're able to alter and change the book in more dramatic ways. But one of the first puzzles that the game throws at you, and I titled these sentence puzzles. You're given a sentence, and you're able to change one word in the sentence and alter it with a different word to change the meaning of the sentence, which in turn changes the contents of the page. One of the first puzzles that you come across is there is a creature named Topsy, and she wants you to get her biscuits. Next to Topsy is a sentence that reads, "Here was a secluded forest." If you explore the page, you will see that there is a word titled ruin, and you can flip between forest and ruin to drag along her biscuits closer to her. So the solution is actually really simple to start. But later on in the game, you're given these sentences and you're asked to flip between the previous pages to find the specific words for those sentences to change the contents of the page, which solves the puzzle. And when you solve the puzzle, there's a little chime that plays. So it's very Zelda-like in that aspect. And those are the puzzles in the game. So they do give you power-ups to alter the pages of the book when you're outside of the book. And you are also able to bring some items in and out of the book as well. As I said, the game gradually makes these more difficult and asks you to think a little harder each puzzle. And I also adored the puzzles in this game as well, and I love the way that they're handled. No puzzle is repeated, so that's the puzzle. And now the last segment of the review is performance. And this is probably going to be the shortest segment because the game performed amazingly. My PC rig is an RTX 4070 Ti Super. I have a Ryzen 7 3800 XT CPU, and I have 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM. I also ran the game on an SSD, and yeah, the game performed absolutely incredibly. I ran the game at 4K, and it was an almost locked 120 FPS. The only thing that I noticed was that there's minor stutters here and there. The game stuttered the most when I flipped the pages of the book. I can just chalk this down to being an Unreal Engine related problem, because a lot of Unreal Engine games have stuttering issues. But that's really the only thing that I noted about the performance of the game. And judging by the way that they scaled the game down all the way to a Switch, I believe that the game should be performant on all platforms that it's on. I don't expect the Switch version to have 60 FPS, but I believe that the Xbox Series X and S and the PS5 versions of the game do run at 60. But yeah, I played the game on PC. It ran absolutely amazingly. And that is the review of the Plucky Squire. I am absolutely rattling my brain to find synonyms of the words amazing, fantastic, spectacular, because that is truly how I feel about this game. It does a wonderful job at paying homage to games of the past and even games of the present, with all the different mini games that the game throws out at you and all the different ways that you interact with the game and the shifts in perspectives and all that. I didn't really talk too much about the mini games because I think that is some of the most fun and most jaw-dropping moments in the game, is when the game shifts into a minigame perspective, and there's so many. The main one that I noted was the Punch-Out minigame, but another one that I also noted in my written review is a Resogun-like minigame. So you can expect the game to consistently keep you on your toes throughout the 10-hour run duration. But yeah, that is the Plucky Squire. I did rate this game a 10 out of 10. It is an amazing example of the art and the creativity and the imagination and the whimsical nature of what video games can provide, and I absolutely loved it. I think it's an amazing game. And if you loved this review, you can click the like button. You can subscribe to Lords of Gaming on YouTube. Check out lordsofgaming.net for all of your written video game needs. And thank you for watching this video. I absolutely appreciate you and your time that you gave to me and to us over at Lords of Gaming. Till next time, peace out.